Hello, ladies. I am so excited to be here. Welcome to your spring masterclass and cleanse. We're here to cleanse your liver, restore your health, bring peace of mind, release anger, and we're going to enjoy 1 week of nourishing foods and connect through your body, to your mind, to your soul. It's going to be awesome. So let's get started. Perfect. Now, I want to let you know that you are in the right place. And first of all, I want to congratulate you because you are already making a choice to take care of yourself. You are already embarking on a journey of a healthier you. Now, how do you know you're in the right place? If you've asked yourself in the past, I want to shed, if you've asked yourself or if you thought this, or you said this to yourself, I want to shed some of the extra winter weight and fat that accumulated, or even through the quarantine, right? Some of us, it's just really hard to stop eating the chips or the sweets and things like that. So if you want to shed that extra weight, this is the place for you. If you want to conquer your cravings, but still continue to eat nurturing and delicious foods. If you're feeling exhausted all the time, if you want to release your toxic loads, if you've said to yourself, I want to jumpstart my weight loss, but I just don't know how. These are all things that if you have told this to yourself, if you ask this to yourself, you are in the right place. These are all good signs. So no worries. Now, what are we going to learn? We're going to go through 5 steps. And essentially the first step, it's going to be about understanding this week. What are the importance of understanding the roots of what's happening in your body? What is this week about? Why spring cleanse is important? Why is it different? And so you learn the importance of this season. Then we're going to identify the main guidelines for the cleanse. In order for you to be a successful cleanse, there are some things that I want you to follow. And the days are going to really go very fast and smooth as possible if you follow these guidelines. So it is very important that you understand the step 2. Step 3 is going to be to know how to incorporate the key ingredients, and that will make you love this cleanse even more. So by now, I know it can be hard to find some of the ingredients. So I'm going to give you ways that you can substitute some of the ingredients that will be in the guidelines. But as you understand the reasons why we're picking these foods right now, it's going to be easier for you to incorporate this week, but also it is the key to keep it sustainable. So after the cleanse is done, hopefully you'll keep the recipes, you'll keep the ingredients, and you can continue to eat them throughout spring. Step 4. There are supplements that I put together specifically for liver cleansing. They are optional. If you can get them, if they can be delivered to you on time, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Maybe you want to order it anyways and then keep them and use them through spring. It's okay. But the important thing is I want to tell you what are some of the supplements that I would recommend for the liver cleansing and for this spring. And I'm going to tell you why. And so you understand exactly. And then step 5, it is not just about the food, right? Some of us, it's just about, okay, give me the recipe, I'll do it, I'll eat it. No, let's take this time to really connect to nature, to your body, to your mind. Let's take this time to take time for ourselves, to really experience and connect with what our bodies are telling us. This is my favorite part of the entire cleanse. So a little bit about me. If you haven't worked with me in the past, I'll give you a quick recap of my story here. So that's me in the picture, and you can't see it from the picture, but at an early stage, I've always had digestive issues. My mom had weight issues ever since she was born, essentially. And so I dealt with that as well, more from a physical as well, but also from an emotional perspective. And then my dad always suffered from constipation, acid reflux, so a lot of digestive issues in my family. And so what I started to do was trying to fix it with the traditional way. So taking the antacids, taking the laxatives, trying to do the yo-yo diets, trying to work out as much as I could. And that's a picture on the bottom when I finished the New York Marathon in 2011. And you can see that I'm smiling. However, it was one of the worst moments with my digestive issues because I was eating a lot because I was running a lot, and the excuse was, oh, I'm running a lot so I can eat whatever. The reality is that I couldn't. I was very constipated. I had acid reflux because I wasn't eating the right thing. So then you can see the picture in the middle. I never been what we call obese, but you can see there is inflammation around my belly, and that inflammation, it's related to a gut that is not healthy. So if you have that, where like you're very like skinny, or you have like not skinny arms and whatever, but then it comes in the middle of your weight, then that's those are inflammation signs. And then we're gonna understand where the liver is, because sometimes people get pains and get inflamed in different parts of our core. And so I'm going to explain to you specifically where the liver is, and if it's inflamed, then you recognize that. But also the small intestine, which is the organ that absorbs the nutrients, is right below the belly button. So you can see that that is a little bit inflamed there. And so it's not the stomach when that part of you hurts or is inflamed. So we have to understand where the pain is, where the inflammation is, so that we can attack it. Then I started going to the Academy of Healing Nutrition in New York City, and then I started to take matters on my own hand and heal myself with food and lifestyle changes. And I learned a lot about Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, and then I got married, and it was working out for me. I felt like I had a little bit of a better grasp of what made me feel which way. However, it wasn't until I understood functional nutrition and I graduated from the Functional Nutrition Alliance, and I became a functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner back in 2018, that I really understood how to get to the roots of the issues. And then you can see pictures of me after, really reducing inflammation, really connecting with my body, with nature, with the right things to eat. And so just a quick, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because hopefully you get a couple of things that you're like, oh, that happened to me, I can relate to that, and know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm going to help you get there. So that's the purpose of this live, not just to talk about myself. Next, so what is this week about? Let's just get started right away. So my goal as a nutritionist and as a functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner is to really work from the core to engage natural resources for the digestive system, so that you can know what are some of the pathways to rejuvenate yourself. We're going to be cleansing and detoxifying the body, and we're going to find what are some of the missing links in your body. Sometimes we think that cleanses are just a yo-yo diet, they're not required, but the reality is that it allows us to stop a little bit and then clean the muddy waters, and then regather ourselves, reintroduce nurturing foods. And that, from that point on, we can start to see what's going on with our bodies, how can we address it, and what are some of the things that we can continue to do so that we can continue to feel better. So when it comes to the liver, what we really want to do is remove all the substance that distracts our major organ of detoxification, which is the liver. And that means eliminating a lot of the fats and eliminating so most of the fats and most of the processed foods. And even caffeine, alcohol, and even certain proteins, right? So animal proteins is a no-no, the same as caffeine, alcohol, and fats. But the good thing is we're going to replace them with amazing recipes, so don't worry. Now, let's just, also, I want to let you know that this week is also about you. I want you to know that just by taking this time, this 5 days to commit to yourself, you're going to come out of it as a greater, healthier person. Even if you feel like sometimes it's harder, even if you feel like, oh, you can't do it. This week is for you, and it's about you and what you can do. And I'm going to be here to walk you through the process and to support you. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about seasonal cleanses. So seasonal cleanses are not a diet. They're not a quick fix or a deprivation. The purpose of a cleanse is really, like I said before, to clear the body of foods, chemicals that you might be allergic to or sensitive to. And I recommend that you do them every quarter, like with the seasons, and you're gonna feel the difference right when we finish. So Again, this week is about you, and it's about connecting with um, that ability to cleanse and to detoxify yourself. And then spring cleaning begins. It's everyone talks about spring cleansing, and we think about like, okay, let me get rid of the clothes that I don't use. Let me organize my house. But it really begins with the body, the mind, and the spirit, and that's what we're gonna do in these 5 days. Now, why spring? In Ayurveda, which is the ancient medical system in India, it is a season for renewal. In traditional Chinese medicine, spring is related to the wood element and the emotion anger. But if you think about what spring means, it's when the creatures awaken. It's when we go out in nature and plant our seeds. It's when we start and put our hopes and faith into new projects, into new things. So I want you to take this week as that you are your own seed, your own new seed. So we are going to plant it again with nurturing soil, and you're gonna start to bloom as soon as we start with these plants. It also is nice because at least here it gets a little bit warmer, the days are longer, and so hopefully you're gonna start feeling lighter and think about green and think about starting fresh. These are all the things that I want you to connect with as we are doing this cleanse this week. Now, from a traditional Chinese perspective, spring is a time also when it's related to the emotion of anger. So the wood element, it has to do with water, and it's related to the emotion of energy. And that's why I wanted to connect the two. And usually it is said that the anger is being stored in the liver. And so when we do this type of cleanse, I usually feel like I get angry, especially in the spring cleanse. Like at the beginning, I start getting angry. Like, why am I doing this? This is just frustrating. I can't do it. Like all of this stuff that come into our mind, but it's because we're releasing that energy from the liver. And so the wood element, which governs the sense of a vision, imagination, and dreams, when that is out of balance, it's like it's blocking your vision. And when it's blocking your vision, you feel anger and you feel frustration. So with this spring, we're gonna balance our wood element. We're gonna balance our sense of vision, our imagination, and our dreams. And with that, hopefully we're gonna have a clearer vision and remove and let go of our anger and frustration. Sounds good? Sounds great to me. It sounds like I need it, 100%. So how are we gonna do this? There's 2 things that we're gonna be doing. First, we're gonna be doing before going to bed, releasing anger journaling. And you should have received the Forgive Essential Oil, which is a nice roller. If you haven't, don't worry about it. We sent it, but it's hard with the timing right now to see when things are going to arrive. But you just grab any essential oil that you have. It could be lavender, it could be just coconut oil, it could be eucalyptus, peppermint, whatever kind of essential oil that you have at hand. You can roll it in your wrist, you can smell it, and you can hold it for as long as you can and then release it. And then you're gonna grab a pen and you're gonna have a nice journal for this 5 days, just 5 days. Commit yourself to it. It's going to be you're gonna see a difference, specifically when releasing anger. And we're gonna ask these questions. What did not go as I planned today? What am I afraid of? And then we're gonna speak out loud and let it go. I recognize that I'm not my feelings and give myself permission to recognize and validate that I am loved. And I trust that all things are working together for the greater good. Again, this is just going to help you so much when moments of frustration and anger happen. And it doesn't have to be with whatever didn't happen today. It could be with things that you feel angry about and frustrated about. So I want you to try to do that. And then also, I'm gonna go over this before. In the morning, we have a quick 5-minute releasing anger meditation. You just have to sit down and listen to it. I am gonna guide you through it. And it's a breathing meditation that is going to help you also to release anger. So that's that in terms of releasing anger. Now, let's just go back again to the spring in traditional Chinese medicine being the season for the liver and the gallbladder. So what are some of the signs that you might have impaired liver or gallbladder activity? You might have skin that appears a little bit of yellow. maybe abdominal pain or swelling, right? Feeling inflamed, right? On the right hand side, we're going to talk about where the liver is, abdominal swelling in the legs and ankles, itchy skin, dark urine color. Like all of these are just samples of what a liver that is not working properly could mean, it could feel in your body, and also chronic fatigue. So this is why we're cleansing it. Now, how do we get to the roots of the issues? You've heard me talk about functional nutrition, and it's that idea of making our body functional and getting to the actual root instead of putting a band-aid. And we have a 3 roots, many branches approach that I want to really quickly go through so that you can understand how do we get through the roots of the issues. So most of our issues out there and symptoms that we feel are related to 3 main roots. And the 3 main roots are our genes, the gut health, and inflammation. Now, you have here the 3 kind of like roots. Within each root, there are 4 or 5 things that we can tackle in order to address that. So when it comes to the genes, we know that this comes from our parents. However, now through the concept of, oh my God, I just forgot the name. So there's a concept, epigenetics came to me. So now with the concept of epigenetics, it tells us that you can modify your genes with your environment, with the mindset that you have, with your movement, with the food that you eat. So that's why we're going to be addressing in this cleanse things like your environment. So when you wake up in the morning and you make sure that the environment that you're in is calm, is peace, when you go to bed earlier and you go to bed in a nice setup, not just like from the TV to home, and the environment as well, we're going to be waking up with the sunrise. So looking at that, starting off the day, getting energized, so important. The mindset with the meditation, movement, also we're not going to address it in this cleanse specifically, but if you want to move gently, it's helpful, like walking 10, 15 minutes will be ideal if you can. And then the gut health. I usually start with the gut health, and because gut health is one of the things that we can see changes faster and we can feel motivated to do more. And so in this cleanse, we're going to be addressing the food. We're going to be addressing the microbiome, the microbia of our gut. We're going to stay clear of inflammatory foods, and all that helps with the gut health, which is connected in a way to the liver, which is our biggest detoxification organ. And then we're also going to be improving the functionality of our organs with the different supplements that we're going to be taking. And then again, the mindset, the microbiome. So a lot of these roots are related, and we're going to be attacking all of them through in this cleanse. So first, let's just find our liver in our bodies. So the one thing I wanted to mention in terms of the liver is, like, a lot of people don't know necessarily where the liver is, and that's just not ideal because you want to make sure you're connecting with it, and we're going to use it in our meditation. So if you grab your right hand and you place it right below your ribs, the liver, it's kind of like this shape. It's like a triangle shape, and it goes below your back, the right ribs, and it extends a little bit into the back of your left ribs. So that's where your liver is. And we're going to be doing that meditation where we're sending love to our liver. So once you recognize it, think about it. If you feel pain there, okay, there's something that we need to work on. It's related to the liver, or it's inflamed, or, you know, it's really good for us to know where it is. Now, what are the 4 main functions on the liver? First, it's going to filter the blood and all the blood in the body. So basically, it's going to filter everything in terms of the blood in the body. That's why it's so important. Second, it's going to synthesize and secretes the bile. So the bile is something that the gallbladder releases in order to help us digest fat. So that's very important that we have that control. The liver, it's also it's responsible for different chemical compounds, and there's 2 different phases of elimination. And then the liver is important because it also produces enzymes that helps manufacture cholesterol. So all of these things are the reasons why we should be taking care of our liver during these 5 days. I want to go a little bit into the detail of the two phases of the detoxification in the liver, because I feel like the more we know, the more educated we are, and the more this change should be sustainable. So first is the fact that the liver, it's going to, the first phase is obviously burning and clearing and processes all the byproducts that we have and toxins from our blood, right? So what is cool about it is we don't think about the toxicity that we have in our bodies. So it's not just from food, but it also can be from the air that we breathe in. It could also be from the chemicals that are on our cleaning materials and our cleaning supplies. So we have to think about all of this. And then in the phase 2 of the detoxification, we're going to break down those components and we're going to partner them with a different 6 pathways. So for instance, the liver is going to be responsible for eliminating the following. If there's too much estrogen in your body, the liver is responsible for eliminating that. If there are excess neurotransmitters that are disrupting your brain chemistry, the liver is going to be able to cleanse that. Histamine, so people have histamine issues, a lot of allergies, the liver is responsible and will help you for that. That's why it's so important to start it in the spring as well. Heavy metals, thyroid and hormones, phenols from wine, for instance. All of this, the liver is supposed to help you cleanse it. Nicotine, bacterial toxins, caffeine. So we see now the importance of having the phase 1 and the phase 2. So the phase 1 is kind of like breaking it down. And then phase 2 is once they're broken down, you partner with something else. And then you're able to release them from the body. There are different pathways. So hopefully this is helpful. Now, if your body can eliminate the toxins, if the liver isn't working properly, we might be storing fat as a way to protect you from the toxic overload. That's why we're removing the fat in this cleanse, and we're letting the liver rest and trying to give it some nurturing love. So that way we're going to be able to release that toxic overload and prevent our body to keep storing fat as to protect the liver. So it is so important to be aware not only of the foods that we're eating, but also what are some of the things in our environment that are toxic, relationships that are toxic. So whether it is outside the body or inside the body. So detoxing the liver is going to help you release all of these pollutants that get into your body. Now we're going to need to take a deep breath in and then release through your nose. You don't need to understand everything. I like to educate you so that little things stays here and there, and then you can hopefully keep that through spring. But at the end of the day, you just need to trust me and trust the process. And I think you do, and that's why you're here. So we're going to identify the second step. This is the part that it's cool because you want to know, okay, what is this cleanse about? What's going to be for the next 5 weeks? And here we go. So first, I want you to know that you have a guide in the welcome email that we sent you. There's this link for this masterclass. There's also a link for the protocol. There's also a link for the supplements, and there's also a link for the eating guidelines. So what can you include, what to exclude? In terms of what can you include, you can include 3 meals per day. Like, this is not about starving yourself. If you want to have more smoothies, more juices, more soup, more whatever foods you have in the protocol, you can. It's not about starving yourself. There's super cool snack options that you can make. And also, I gave you a shopping list. So if you don't find any of those kind of like specific vegetables that are there, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you another list that you can use and replace them with. What are we doing? We're trying to choose organic and seasonal. Seasonal makes sense because everything we're doing is for spring. We're going to stay gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. You can use a little bit of raw honey or stevia, but I would recommend that you stay away from it. Nothing processed. We're gonna eliminate most nuts, except for the ones in the recipes. All packaged foods and processed foods go away. We're gonna avoid additives and artificial sweeteners. We're gonna reduce or eliminate caffeine. Green tea is okay, but ideally you wanna have herbal teas, and there is a great liver detox elixir that you might wanna have every day. And then of course, no alcohol for these 5 days. Now, everyone experiences the cleanses differently. This particular program is super gentle and effective, and you will not be starving. You will not be without energy. You will not spend hours in the bathroom pooping. The idea is that it's very smooth. At the beginning, it could be a little bit harder. If some of you are still eating sugar and still eating processed foods and coffee, the first 2 days might be a little bit tougher. But after that, you will actually be giving your body the internal reboot that it needs. You will have a fresh start. You'll be more conscious and more careful about what you pick just after this cleanse, because you realize you don't need to eat that much. You really don't need that much processed foods, and you really don't need that extra sugar and extra fat in your meals. So as you read this is just 1 week. So this is what might you experience? You might, like I mentioned before, a little bit of fatigue at the beginning, maybe anger for sure, because we're releasing it. Frustration with yourself, with your partners. You might even get frustrated with me, and that's okay. Try not to, but I'll take it just for the good of your health. I promise it goes away after the cleanse. You might experience some weight loss. You might experience clearer skin, mind, focus, better pooping, maybe a strong body odor, a little bit of lack of appetite and brighter eyes. So sometimes you might feel like, oh, maybe I don't need to eat that much and I am okay and I feel satisfied. It's one of the key things as well. Also, you might feel a little bit of headaches at the beginning from caffeine and the sugar withdrawal, resistance to doing this, something that tells you don't do it, you can't do it, and that's okay too, but you already made this commitment. I'm here to help you. Feeling of justification, like, oh, I don't need it, I'm doing great already, all this stuff can come to mind. And separation from your family and friends when eating. And that happens because you are in a very moment that is all about you. So if somebody else is eating something else and they want to eat their pastas and their meat and whatever, that's fine. You are going to do you this week. So it's okay if you feel a little bit separated for 5 days. Now, what is the protocol? We're going to wake up with the sunrise every morning. And that's going to be awesome because it's going to allow you to connect with the rising of the sun, with the energy of a new day. So put up the alarm for a waking up with the sunrise. Here in New York City or in Eastern time, it's around sunrise is around 6 o'clock in the morning. So I recommend that you do that for these 5 days. Check it out, whatever your city is. And then once you wake up, you're gonna do 8 ounces of water, which is a cup, with a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, if it's too strong for you, if you suffer from GERD or acid reflux, don't do it. Just do regular water without the apple cider vinegar. But other than that, then you should definitely, if you suffer for any of that, you should do it. And I'm gonna explain why the apple cider vinegar after. In terms of after that, then you can do your breathing, your meditation technique, which you just have to watch the video. You can do a little bit of a yoga, stretch, whatever you want, or even work on projects that you want to prepare the food since you're going to be waking up early. Prepare the foods for the day. Take this time for you. The breakfast is usually a choice of smoothie or a cereal porridge, depending on the level that you're doing. Then you're going to have 1 ml of milk thistle, and that's the tincture that you probably got. And if you didn't get it, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You put it in water and you drink it. This is for liver, and we're going to talk about that later. In the morning, you can do snack or the elixir, which is there in your recipes. Then lunch, you have water, and then you have a lunch option, and then again, milk thistle. Then you have another tea in the middle of the afternoon or a snack if you need it. Dinner option, another drop of milk thistle in the water, and then 1 tablet of magnesium. And we're going to talk about that. And then before bedtime, we're going to do the journaling that I just described. So that's what the protocol is. That's what we should be trying to do for the next 5 days. If you are pregnant or nursing, don't drink the milk thistle. That's important to remember. And if you have acid reflux, don't do the apple cider vinegar. Okay, there's two levels, level 1 and level 2. They're color coded. Level 1 will be in green and level 2 will be in orange. The main difference is if you are a master cleanser, you've done this with me in the past, you feel like you've eaten properly, then you can do level 2, which means we're gonna have liquid days Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you are level 1, the liquid day is only on Wednesday, and that's for you if you're starting to cleanses, this is your first time. Take it easy. You can do a combination. You can do maybe Tuesday is a liquid day, Wednesday it's not, and then Thursday it's one again. You have choices. So see how you feel, but know that the more liquid days, the easier it is to detox, the easier it is to digest the foods, and the easier it is to incorporate the nutrients in our bodies. So 3, we're going to incorporate the main ingredients, and this is what you love this cleanse, and you remember them and you can keep incorporating them as spring comes on. First, think about green. So, okay, you don't have this for the recipe, you don't have this for the other recipe. Think about green. Go to your supermarket, or if you shop online, everything that is green, get it. So arugula, kale, cilantro, charts, mustard greens, spinach, turnip, dandelion greens, green cabbage. Your meals should energize you and shouldn't make you feel like you are sluggish or you want to go to bed. And that's the key for spring cuisine is light. That's what we have to keep in mind. Things are light, it's green. So we're going to have a lot of salads, lots of cilantro and parsley, which have detoxifying properties. And you don't, like I said, if you don't want to follow the recipes, you can create your own, but make sure you follow the guidelines, right? No animal protein, no gluten, no dairy, no sugar, no processed foods, and mostly greens. Now, why are the greens so important? It's the benefits of the chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll in the greens allow you to purify the blood and cleanses the toxins, helps prevent cancer by removing toxic wastes, rejuvenates the body, boosts the immune system, fights inflammatory conditions like skin rashes, normalizes the blood pressure, eliminates the mold. So all of these are super important and key for spring cleansing because we're eating a lot of green. Now, what's up with the supplements? So let's understand them together. We have the magnesium, the apple cider vinegar, and the milk thistle. So in terms of the apple cider vinegar, that's the first thing we're going to be taking. And you have a supplements guideline, which tells you exactly why, how much, when to take it, when not to take it, everything it's there. But I can explain it to you here. And the coolest thing is that apple cider vinegar is used in order to alkalinize our body. And it's used in the mornings because when we wake up, we spend about 8 hours without putting anything in our body, and our body tends to be a little bit acidic when we wake up. So we want to alkalinize it. And apple cider vinegar is going to help us do that, as well as create more acid in our stomach, which help us digest foods for the week. So reference recognize apple cider vinegar. Ideally, it says with the mother, it's raw, it's organic. You can see it there. This is my favorite brand. Otherwise, you can do lemon and water. That's fine. The second supplement that we are going to be using, it's the milk thistle. Now, the milk thistle, the reason why we are using it is because it's one of the herbs that have actually been proven to have a great effect on detoxifying the liver. And the idea is that we drink it before each meal. You have it in the protocol with water. So make sure the milk thistle that you buy is in texture. However, if you have it in pills, it's also okay. If you don't get it, it's also okay. Again, these are, like I said, these are more of optional supplements. So also I wanted to mention that the milk thistle contains a flavonoid, and flavonoids is the phytonutrients. Phytonutrients are everything that are not the main nutrients, like the amino acids, the fiber, and the essential fatty acids. So everything else that is not a fat, a protein, or a fiber, it's a phytonutrient, and those are nutrients in our body. So they have a flavonoid that is called silymarin, and they act in the body to increase the membrane strength and reduce the membrane permeability. And that's going to be great for our liver, but also all of the membranes on our body. So the internal lining of our digestive system. It's also really good to use the milk thistle for. Like I said, if you're pregnant or nursing, don't take it. And silymarin, which is a flavonoid, has been proven to act this way specifically on liver cells, like I mentioned. So very key for liver. And then you got the magnesium. Magnesium is said to be the calm mineral. Ideally, you want to take it at night. It relaxes our muscles. It relaxes our lung intestine, which allows us to go to the bathroom more often. It helps building and strengthening bones. So magnesium it's part of my day-to-day supplements. And I would recommend that if you don't have it, it's okay, don't use it. But if you do, it's a great addition to this during springtime. And I do use it year round, to be honest. So let's talk about magnesium. If you have any questions, do let me know. Now, it's just not about the food, like I mentioned. It's about mixing in our bodies, connecting with our mind and our soul in this cleanse. And like I mentioned before, we're going to have breathing techniques in the morning. You just have to click on the link and hear me walk you through a meditation, very powerful to release anger and frustration. You can use that meditation throughout the day. I would recommend that you use it also in the afternoon. And then before going to bed, we're going to add that oil. Could be the Forgive oil that you got, any lavender oil, eucalyptus, peppermint, any oil that you have at home. Smell it, inhale, exhale, and then journal and speak out loud that you're not your feelings, that you are love, and you release all the anger. Everything is there. We have a mantra for this week. And you can even give yourself a hug. It's about loving yourself this week. And okay, so what is the key and the main differentiator of doing this cleanse with me versus doing a group cleanse that you buy online and you've never talked to anybody else? Is the accountability. So make sure you download the Healthy app. The instructions are on your welcome email. And it's just a matter of like downloading it, following the steps. You have to sign the client agreement, and then you're going to use it to post your meals. Post your breakfast, your lunches, your snacks, everything. I'm communicating with you there. I'm following what you're doing. And I know if you have a question, but if you are following the protocol and you feel certain things, then we can go back and say, okay, what caused you to feel certain things? We can eliminate it, we can tweak it. So make sure you download the Healthy app. You can send me messages there, and you upload also your meditations. Take a picture of yourself meditating and upload it. Take a picture of your journal. It can be from far. If you don't want me to read, that's fine. But it's just a matter of every day making sure you're uploading and you're keeping yourself accountable with all the activities that we're doing. So I always tell this to my clients that do cleanses. I give you all of the tools, and then you pick kind of like what's best for you. But I would recommend that you try everything, because if you don't try, you don't know what works. And I've spent years putting everything together in this kind of like little by little mode, so that we can then incorporate it and really notice what makes us feel better and keep that. So I already did lots of research, notice what worked, what didn't, and I put it all here for you so you can skip those steps. And also, there's going to be a lot of support. We're going to have a WhatsApp group. We're going to have question and answers every night at 8:00. So just jump in, ask your question. Feel free to introduce yourself. Tell us why you're here, why you're doing this cleanse. We do need each other. So the WhatsApp group is a great support system. And then celebrate every meal that you take, every smoothie, every juice that you make, every meditation, every journal. Celebrate little by little every step, because you're closer to feeling better. And then at the end of the week, this is why it's worth it. It will be worth it. Your investment, your time, your commitment, your emotion, because you're going to feel like detoxified, lighter, with more energy, and with a peace of mind that comes from meditating, from connecting to yourself. You'll create a routine with healthier habits, and you can keep on a sustainable basis, at least for the entire spring. And if you're in the southern cone for the entire fall, I wouldn't recommend it. But the whole point is, try to keep this kind of routine for at least a quarter, right? Like a seasonal amount. You'll experiment different recipes and meals, and they're tasty and nutritious. And if you are in the part of the country or part of the world where you don't necessarily have spring or the seasons, it's okay. Just focus on whatever we're working on it on this now and on this week, because it will help you deliver it. Even though it's great to cleanse it in spring, it could be great to cleanse it at any time. But spring is obviously way better because it's what the nature is giving us, and we're connecting to that. You'll know exactly what to eat after to regain energy, to keep the gut health, to keep the liver detoxified. You'll be able to be part of this community. Once you're here, hopefully you don't leave us unless you want to. And I am happy to walk you through this journey. This is just the beginning. So again, I just want to leave you with this quote. It is your decisions and not your conditions that determines your destiny. So it is what you decide to do, and know what is around you that determines your destiny and how you finish this cleanse. And that's from Tony Robbins. So with that, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. Know that I am in the Healthy app in the WhatsApp group. If you have any questions, please read everything. We put so much effort and so much love into these protocols. They're beautiful. Read the instructions. If you have a question, it's probably answered there. But if it's not, or in this presentation, but if it's not, I'll be more than happy to answer. So let's get started and go shopping. Send me pictures of your shopping cart. Send me a picture of what you bought. Send me pictures of what you're making. I really want to be there and share this with you. So with that, have a great day and a great cleanse week. Bye.